How we doing, guys? Welcome to the player ratings. Arsenal against Manchester City, the Community Shield, which of course we won. Yes, we did win it on penalties. Yes, we did get fortunate with the injury time equaliser, but I feel over the balance of play of the 90 plus minutes, we were the better side. And let's be real about it here. I know a lot of people will say that Man City had so much possession and everything else. Possession doesn't always win you football matches. I remember there was a time under Arsene Wenger where we would absolutely dominate teams and have so much possession, and we never used to win matches. And everybody used to say, possession don't win football matches. So it's got to work both ways. But I felt in the first 15 minutes or so, we stood off Man City. I said this in my review of the game, that you can look at that one or two ways. One is respect, because, you know, Man City are treble winners. And if you go toe-to-toe with them and try and actually press and, you know, take the game to them, they'll pull you apart. And the other side is tactical, that we literally sat there and said, you know what, sit off them. Let's frustrate them a little bit. Let's see if they can break us down, and then we'll start to implement our own style and our own game and cause them problems. And that's exactly what we did. In the first half, we had the two best chances of the game. Kai Havertz should have had at least one goal. The first opportunity, I'm not going to, you know, criticise him too much for that. The ball was, you know, behind him. He had to control it, turn, and he got a decent shot away, and the keeper made a good save. And the second one, he should be scoring. It's as simple as that. There's no excusing it, whether it's your weak foot, whatever. You've got to be scoring it. But the move in general was really, really good. And I feel that over the course of the 90 minutes, his performance was quite positive, to be fair. You know, barring the misses, obviously. And yeah, listen, Chelsea fans will sit there all day long and start laughing and saying this, that and the other. Worry about your team. Worry about trying to get in the top 10 this season, and we'll worry about what we're doing, all right? And then the second half, I felt it was a very even game, very few chances. I felt that we dominated more of the ball. We had a lot of good possession in good areas. And then Man City caught us. Thomas Partey got spun by Phil Foden. And at the time, Thomas Partey, and I did also mention this in my review of the game, that he couldn't bring him down. He couldn't do one of those tactical fouls because he was on a yellow card. And that, you know, alluded to my point on the referee, that, you know, Thomas Partey got such a needless yellow card that the referee didn't need to give, when all game he was allowing Rodri to do anything he wanted. Rodri should have had about 3 yellow cards. Let's be real. The offences he made. Even towards the end of the game, there was one I think he actually did on Partey where he's literally grabbed him and just yanked him down when Partey's away. It's like, what is this referee seeing? What has Rodri got on referees that they don't book him? But we're not going to go and get into that again. It is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, so it was one of those. And then last 10 minutes of the game, you know, Man City had a couple of chances. Aaron Ramsdale made some really good saves, and yeah, we was able to get that equaliser and then win on penalties. So it is what it is. So there we go. Let's go and get into the player rating. Starting off in goal, Aaron Ramsdale. I felt this was a decent performance from him. The 2 saves that I mentioned late on in the game ultimately kept us in the game, and then of course he saves a penalty from Rodri. So overall, it was a really good performance from Ramsdale. I'll give him an 8 for his performance. I thought that was decent. Go to the defensive areas. On the right-hand side, Ben White, I thought that was a really good performance from him. Kept Jack Grealish quiet all game. It looked more like the Ben White of old, of last season. In the middle part of the season, he was really, really good. And again, I'll give him an 8. To be fair, I thought he was decent. In the centre of the defence, first of all, Gabriel, very solid, very comfortable, didn't do, more than he had to, and didn't stand out, but done everything that he needed to do, shall we say. A solid 7, I would say. It was pretty comfortable afternoon, to be quite honest with you. So there we go. And I'm going to say this: the reason why it was a comfortable afternoon is because of the guy that he had next to him, William Saliba. Absolute Rolls Royce. And I know that term gets used all the time, but he's not just a Rolls Royce. He's like a Phantom exclusive with all the added extras and everything else. He is just unreal, man. This guy, seriously, he's going to wake up this morning and he's going to be like, right, well, where's my phone? I've got my keys and my wallet. And who's that? Erling Haaland? What are you doing in my pocket? Get out. Do you know what I mean? Unreal. What a player. And I'm telling you now, if he never got injured last season, Arsenal win the league. I'm that confident that Arsenal would have won the league if William Saliba had not got injured. And I say it again, I did it in a video a few days ago. William Saliba walks into any team in the Premier League. He walks into Man City's defence all day long. Argue about it as much as you want. Don't care. He goes in. Simple as that. He gets a 9 for me. He was just immense. And what he does to everybody around him, like what I was saying with Gabriel, just breeds like that confidence and that elegance and arrogance and just, oh, what a player. And he's 22. Jesus. On the left back position, Jurriën Timber. What a signing. This guy is so good. And he's playing out of position. He is so good. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of him. He looks an absolute bargain already. He gets a 9 for me as well. He was immense. Next up in the midfield, Thomas Partey. I felt he had a really good game. There was that moment, obviously, with the Man City goal where he got spun and he couldn't be. I think in normal circumstances, without a yellow card, he brings him down and, you know, the goal don't happen. But I felt overall he was very comfortable, very controlling, and really good. So he gets an 8. Next up we have Declan Rice, and I felt that was his best performance for Arsenal. There was one moment in the second half, the way he run back and won the ball, I think everybody was like, whoa, like this is what we're going to get from him. Is just a superb player. And again, he's only going to get better. He's still integrating. He's still learning. He's still adapting to the way that we're playing. There was nothing, you know, special in there. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I'll give him a 7. But it was a very, very good performance. Very encouraging as well. In the attacking areas, first of all, Martinelli. I don't think he had a good game, to be quite honest with you. I don't think he posed that much of a threat. But I think that obviously he's going to be a danger this season. He's going to be so important. But for yesterday's game, I just felt he was a little bit flat and didn't really do as much as we know he can do. And yeah, for me, he gets a 6. On the right-hand side, Bukayo Saka, again, I don't think he had a really good game. I don't think he was that effective. Causes problems all day long. But I don't think we really see enough of him. There was a couple of flashes in the first half where he'd done a couple of things and you're like, okay. But it was few and far between. I don't know whether, you know, he was still recovering from like the sickness that he had. Apparently there's been a sickness bug going around the club the last week or so. So it's kind of understandable, but he got the minutes under his belt. But again, a bit like Martinelli, I'll give him a 6. In the middle, Martin Odegaard. Really good performance. I felt there was some, you know, parts of his game that were just immense. I think there was one moment in the first half as well. What was his name? The striker. Alvarez, is it? He turned him inside out so bad he actually injured himself. He left Kovacic on his backside at one point. He links everything. He is just an immense footballer. But it was a standard day out for him, to be honest, and I'll give him a 7. Up front as the striker, Kai Havertz. And again, I'm not going to be one of these that sits there and says he had a poor game, etc., etc. I don't think he had a poor game. I think he had a decent game, to be fair. It was just his finishing that let him down, which is, you know, why I'll give him a 7. But overall, I felt his play was quite decent and is encouraging, shall we say. So in terms of the substitutions, I'm not really going to mark them unless they play a substantial amount of time. I'm not really going to mark the substitutes. And yeah, they, obviously came on. And yeah, not one, substitute that I will speak about, because I see people talking about this is Kieran Tierney. Because, he came on and he was kind of involved with the goal. But I'm not going to blame him. I'll say that now. I don't blame him for the goal. It was a bit of a ricochet deflection, and then he kind of got caught whether to go with the runner or go with the goal scorer, and kind of got caught in the middle and slipped. And it's one of those things. But yeah, I'm not going to blame him for the goal. But overall, the performances were quite decent. So yeah, Mikel Arteta got the team right. Everything was fine. It's another trophy in the bank. Gets an 8. Supporters, they get a 10. It was immense. All you could hear was Arsenal fans at Wembley, Man City fans, honest to God. Apart from the hardcore few that I've got respect for that were there when they were nothing, back in the old days, and they were miles and miles away. They were closer to my non-league team than they were the Premier League. But yeah, I've got respect for them because of what they've been through. But there's so many of them that are just plastic, and nah, not for me, mate. Not for me. There's just no soul at all in that club. So yeah, listen, there we go. That is it for the player ratings. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think of those ratings. Do you agree or disagree? If you disagree, which ones do you disagree with? Yeah, listen, there's going to be a very busy week. We've got previews to the Premier League starting and everything else. I'm going to be doing a review of the league and where I feel that every club's going to finish in the Premier League. DTs daily and everything, watch-alongs, you name it, it's coming. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications and everything else. And I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.